The door was gone. It was not locked, it was not painted over, it was gone. Bobby stood at the end of the hallway in the house where he grew up. He had come back one last time before the new owners moved in, and he knew there should be a narrow blue door in front of him. Behind it was a small room. Green lamp, slanted window, a faded red rug, rain tapping the glass. Bobby remembered sitting there when the rest of the house became too loud, but now there was only a wall. His sister said there had never been a door. Bobby laughed. Then he stopped laughing. He found an old photograph of the hallway. Same wallpaper, same crooked light switch, no door, another photograph, no door. Then he found the original floor plan. The hallway ended against the outside wall. There was not even space for a room. Photographs can miss things. Plans can be wrong. Families can forget. Bobby was not ready to let one line on old paper erase a place he remembered living inside. He measured the hallway. Then he went outside and measured the wall. Both measurements matched. If the quiet room had existed, half of it would have been hanging over the backyard. That should have settled it. It did not. Because Bobby remembered something hidden beneath a loose board in that room, a tiny brass key, and the key was still in his old bedroom drawer. Now the evidence disagreed with itself. The house said the room was impossible. The key said Bobby had not invented everything. So Bobby asked his sister again. This time, she hesitated. She did remember the quiet room. Bobby used to talk about it when they were children. He told her it was the only place where nobody could find him. For a moment, Bobby felt steady again. Then she added one detail. She had never seen the room herself. She remembered Bobby describing it. That is one of the strange things about memory. We do not open an old recording and press play. We rebuild an event from pieces, an image, a place, a feeling, something another person said. Usually, the pieces return to the right place. Sometimes, they do not. And a memory can borrow support from the people around it. One person tells a story, someone else repeats it. Years later, both people remember the story, but not always where it began. So Bobby stopped asking, "Do you remember the room?" he asked. "Did you ever walk inside it?" Nobody had. The question had changed. Bobby was no longer trying to prove the room was real. He was trying to discover where its pieces came from. The brass key opened something. It was not a door, it opened an old music box in the attic. Inside was a folded sheet of paper. Bobby had drawn it as a child. A hallway, a blue door, a tiny room. In the corner, beside the green lamp, he had written two words, "My place." The drawing proved the memory was old. It proved Bobby had not made it up last week, but it did not prove the room had been real. In fact, the drawing may have helped make the room feel real. Studies have found that imagining a childhood event can make it feel more familiar or more likely to have happened. That does not happen to everyone. And imagining something once does not create a complete false memory. But Bobby had not imagined the quiet room once. He had returned to it for years. The final clue was in a box of family photographs. One showed the spare room at his aunt's old cottage. Green lamp, slanted window, faded red rug, even the desk was in the same corner. The room in Bobby's head had been real, just not here. Then his sister found one more picture. It showed Bobby, small enough to sit beneath the staircase, wrapped in a blanket while an argument blurred through the room behind him. The music box rested in his lap. That space under the stairs was where he actually hid. It was cramped and dark, it had no window, but the cottage room was warm, quiet, and far away. Over the years, his memory joined them. It kept the fear from one place and borrowed safety from another. The blue door was the seam. Bobby went back to the end of the hallway. The wall had not moved. The old plan had been right. The room was never there. And yet, when Bobby placed his hand against the wall, correcting the memory did not feel like solving a mystery. It felt like losing a place that had once protected him. Maybe that is the hardest thing about remembering. A memory can be wrong about what happened and still be honest about what you needed.